Yeah, man, did a little riding earlier. White out here. All my friends are gone. I rode with about 4 other people earlier. Just looking over white out here. My front tire looked a little weird for a second. Well, I'll check that a little more. Anyway, so I figured I'd bring that TLR buggy here, and let's just see what's up. This thing's been idling for days. I've leaned it a little bit. I've leaned the low a little bit, and I've leaned the top quite a bit. It was real sluggish, so let's see what we get for a pinch test. That seems like a decent pinch test to me. It was just sitting there idling, so I'll go ahead and reheat it and just rip it for a little bit. I did tune it earlier. I'm fine with the tune. It's just running on this kind of, dirt, and I got the wrong tires. I mean, my tires are super screwed up anyway, so I'm not going to get like the raddest performance, but let's just run it for a bit. Well, the Truggy rebuild was moving along fine. I got the diffs to mesh well, like in this regard, like this, you know. Like for some reason, I just couldn't get them to blend well like that before. That's why I took the damn things apart. But what's going on now is when I pop it in here, yeah. And I mean, I've tried all kind of combinations with these things, with the shims on either side, all kinds of shit. And excuse me. Still got some dirt in my nose from riding something. Man, I can't get this sucker to mesh right. When I tighten this down, it's so tight in there, it won't spin. Which is the complete exact opposite of that Buggy I'm going to show you guys here in a second. I don't know, man. I've replaced these bearings. I've gone in there, man, and I'm using the right, you know, the right gear. And dude, this thing just won't back away from this enough. It's too forward. I don't know. Maybe I need to. I mean, my next idea is to, man, I don't know, pop this bearing out and, God, maybe I could sand a little bit down in there so the bearing goes more forward, man. So, I mean, yeah, it was going fine, you know. I was starting to rack it up, and then that front diff just had me stalled. But, yeah, had a good run with the Buggy. I sprayed it off with the air. It's not too bad. So what I'll do now is I'll just I'm gonna go ahead and just rack it down like that. I mean, I'm not gonna clean it as much as those, but I'd like to get in this Works B5. So what I'll say right now is it didn't flame out once, and of course everyone I rode with's like, Craig, get out the Buggy, let's check it out. I'm like, no, everyone bail. Just told everyone to go home. And then, of course, when no one's watching me, it didn't flame out at all. But what I did differently was I made sure my my idle gap, well, I should say I made sure the slide didn't go past the venturi. And before, it was going way back there, like super far back. So maybe it was like loading up with too much or something. So I set my radio endpoint down to like 60%, and it just stops right at that venturi, and it ran pretty good. I mean, you might look back in the video, and I couldn't get this thing to run over 200 degrees. I kept leaning this top end out. I don't know, the screw's still pretty flush there. Perhaps I could have leaned it a little more. I just didn't care, man. I just wanted to run it. You know, I wasn't there to try to get the optimal tune and maximum power, dude. It would have taken probably 4 more tanks to do that. I think I went through almost 5 tanks in running back there. So it stayed alive. I'm happy about the I think the how far back the carb could go made a big difference. So as far as I can tell, you know, this B5 should be good to go. But I'm going to go ahead and take it apart because I haven't done it with the B5, and I like using that thing. So I just kind of want to show kind of what it takes to run these cars, you know. This is a peek into the life of running Nitro. You got to do a lot of shit, you know. You got to take your stuff apart, check your engines, check your, you know, your clutch bearings and stuff. So I'd like to do that with this bad boy. I haven't inspected those clutch bearings, and I'm just going to de-rack this thing a little bit because I was really impressed with it, and I'd like to take it back out. You know, next time we go riding our dirt bikes over there, I am going to just bring the Buggy and rip it up. So let's get into some maintenance.
We appreciate what you do for
All
us.
right. Turn down Frank, Nitro Freak there. I love listening to Nitro Freak. Yeah, Very helpful. Dudes that have killer live streams where they just talk a lot. Man, they're so good to listen to while you're working on your stuff. It just puts you in the mood to work on your stuff. So again, I love listening to Nitro Freak. I love listening to Hybrid 32494. I love listening to Kurt, Buggy Maniac. Those are my three main personalities in YouTube. Just those guys alone. I love listening to them. I love their personalities. You know, I could listen to them all day and all night, and I do. And they help me get a lot of shit done. I'd like to find some others to listen to as well. And there are some other people that I've listened to, but anyway, it's killer. I mean, I'll listen to the radio too when I'm wrenching and stuff, but I just listen to the No Name RC podcast, Lefty and JQ and those guys. That's a really fun one to listen to. They talk a lot about racing and stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of show what I do here. I guess when I have a chassis that looks like that, I found this foaming simple green. I'm trying to get off of doing water cleans where I'm spraying the shit down with water. I'm not trying to do that anymore. Bearings and stuff, thrashed. But my dude Britt put me onto some cleaning wax. So I use both. I mean, you can just use this plus this. But I like the idea of a layer of wax after I do the simple green. And then I also use silicone spray. Something I learned from John Bodegel a long time ago. After you do all your shit, just hit everything with silicone spray, and it just acts as a lubricant for everything, for all your metal parts. That's after I silicone those, and I mean, I did those with all that stuff there. The cleaning wax is pretty expensive, and I was going through a lot of it. I might not even be using it right, but I still like what it does. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do my chassis. I'm also going to go ahead and do my engine. The radio tray looks fine. I don't need to spray anything on that. I just hit the fuel tank with a little bit of regular simple green. Done a different bottle, but with my engines, I'll go ahead and hit it with simple green, and then I'll just douse it with alcohol, and then I have to go to my air compressor and use air and air it off real quick, and then I'll hit it with silicone spray. That's just to get the outside clean. So I'm going to go ahead and clean my engine, and I'll probably just do my chassis. I'll just do everything before I get back with y'all here. All right. Before I take the wheels off, these wheels are probably super shitty for where I just was. These were just ones I was just going to thrash in a parking lot, but they worked. I just wanted to show how rad these diffs spin. My God. I mean, these diffs just won't quit. Now, I know the oil's probably really thin. I haven't gotten into these diffs. I don't even know if I've gotten into the Buggy diffs. Just I might have done it once. But the problem I'm having with my truggy diffs, man, I mean, if I was to rack that up as it is right now, it would not spin that freely. So these Buggy diffs are doing great. And anyway, I just wanted to show how rad these spin, man. I mean, I had such a rad time with this car earlier. Air filter is wrecked. So this product I used to use, been a while. These motor savers. I'm gonna see if I can get a one of these motor savers. I have a bunch of this stuff here. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get a one of the motor savers air filters inside my Buggy here. I don't even know what I was using, but that's another reason why I just didn't stay there and run. I ran about 5 tanks, but that air filter is wrecked. And I'm not going to run the engine until I take a look in there and completely clean it out, because that's a sorry excuse for an air filter. I can't run something like that consistently. So I'll go ahead and take care of that as well. Get something else on there. To remove your engine mount screws on the TLR 8T or the 8 series rather. This is the 8, the T is the truggy, but they're all the same. To remove these, you need a metric 332. You need that ball end. You're not doing anything on a Losi kit without a 332 ball end. These Losi kits are killer for intro nitro stuff, but eventually you're going to have to get in there and do that stuff. People think, you know, the RTR kit, you just play with it and put it away, but man, it's just going to get thrashed and you're going to have to get in there. So you might start grabbing at your normal drivers and you're not going to be able to do shit. You got to have that ball end to remove your engine. And it's metric. The Losi stuff is all metric. So let me just see here. Let me try one of my a 2 mil. Okay. So the 2 fits that. A lot of it's metric anyway. So it's just a heads up for these Losi kits that are great to get into nitro with, but you gotta have some specialized metric stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this engine. That bearing's not that good. Sorry, I got my air compressor going back there. I'm sure you guys can hear that. I need it for when I do that. It's got to stay on. I went ahead and hit this engine with some Simple Green and some alcohol. The alcohol dries really quick, so that's what's good about it. Hitting it with all this metal here, it's better than water, I think. So now I'm just gonna hit the outside of this engine just with silicone spray, and then this is pretty much sanitized now. There's not a speck of dirt on the outside. And I'll put it over to my engine operating station, and I'm just going to let that chill right there. I can start taking that apart, which I will today. I want to look in there. So now I'm going to just go ahead and give this chassis a bit of a cleanup. All right. So that foaming Simple Green stuff works really good. This car wasn't that dirty. It was just kind of dusty out there, but I just got kind of lucky on this run, and it really wasn't that bad. So, but I always like to just do that with the silicone spray and just let it marinate in that stuff. It lubricates everything, you know. And so when they say RTR, I mean, like I said, you get this idea that you don't have to do anything. That really misleads people as far as nitro goes. With nitro, you're always going to have to do shit, no matter what. You're going to have to pop your engine out, look at those clutch bearings, and it all starts from there. And before you know it, you'll find yourself having your things look like this after a while, which is fine, you know. So this can stay on the stand and chill out. I'm not going to show, you know, putting this thing back together. This is just what I wanted to do today after this run. So this chassis is good to go. I'm happy with that. That took just a few minutes. So now I want to get into that, use my bearing puller and get into that engine. The first thing I wanted to do was just pop this glow plug out, take a look at it, see if I could see what model it is. C3. It's been in there for a while, but I'd say if we still got that, excuse me. What's up, Rob?
How'd the ride go?
Pretty good, man. Yeah. Right. So usually after every run, I'll replace these rubber bands, these throttle return rubber bands. If gas gets on these, they get fucked, you know. So these are pretty much good for, I don't know, 1 or 2 runs, I guess. But those are already roached out. The reason I like to use the rubber bands is the springs. Springs will start chomping your carb boot after a while and cause an air leak. So the rubber bands seem like a pretty good deal. So let me go ahead and get this clutch off and see what our just what the shoes look like and what the bearings are up to. Okay. All right, to get the my clutch bell off, I use these killer Tamiya plastic pliers. And yeah, just grab her right there. And you don't damage up your flywheel. So highly recommend these plastic pliers. They're on A-main. Or grab right there, and then just boom, right in here. See, can I do this? Actually did a job on tape. Kinda. Alright. So anyway, let me just kind of take a look here and see what I see. Alright, so we do have a roached bearing in this 4-shoe clutch system here. So we'll go ahead and, you know, change these bearings out. This bearing's fine. These 4-shoe clutches are a trip. I don't run them too often, but they do seem to be the new style. I'm going to go ahead and start running them for next year's race season. I'm going to put them in my race kits and start doing 4-shoe clutches. There is no wear on these shoes at all. I mean, none. These clutch shoes are fine, so that's good to know. So now I have to find my yeah, got to get that nut off, so let me go ahead and do that. All right, just make a little pile of everything that it was shimmed up good, so I mean, I remember how many shims are in there and everything, so it'll be easy to reshim it and get everything back how it was. Once that bearing's replaced, I should have a really good clutch setup still. So now I'm just kind of just doing this and seeing what just seeing what's what. I'm looking at the front bearing here, and I am going to go ahead and pull those, but I just wanted to take a look at it and see. I do see a little bit of maybe some oil right there coming through. This is still a really, I mean, I've hardly ran this B5 though. This thing probably has less than 10 tanks on it, literally. And 5 of them were just earlier. I did about almost 5 tanks. I filled that thing up a bunch. So let's get this thing apart. All right, so here's the manifold gasket there. It looks pretty good. This can definitely be reused. It's fine. I got a bunch of these gaskets. I could put another one in. The Reds gasket doesn't have this well, it's kind of hard to see, but I only have a couple of the Reds gaskets. Those are hard to get for some reason, but these, I have a shitload of these, but this one's totally fine, so I can go ahead and reuse that. It's good to go. All right, we got our back plate off. Just 4 screws. Okay, so you can take a look in there. It looks killer in there. Shit. No rust on the con rod or anything. Lots of oil in there. Man, I started this engine for the first time in like over a year. Just the other day, just in the house, from watching a shitload of hybrid. He starts his shit in the house all the time, and he really got me to like want to come back here and start up my shit. And it's a good idea. Just start it up, you know, run some blood through there, you know, do it in the house. Just start your engines. I have a frozen up SH down there, which is fine. I won't need that for a while. I know I could get it going. I'll just have to hit it with some heat when I want to use it. But so far from what I see in here, everything looks really good. And so let's keep hacking away at this, and we will get this put back together. That'll be the ending of the video. This will be put back together, and at that point it'll be easy to rack the car back up, and then I'll have to go back to work. All right, so this head button is really pretty flush with the top of the engine here, man. This is going to be hard to get out. I got to be real careful with that. I'm going to have to figure something out here to get this out. My other Reds engines, they're not like that. So I've never even taken this works apart yet, so this is a new one on me. I went ahead and grabbed a Colton Bud. I'm going to put some simple green on the end here, just a little bit. And then I just want to take the cooling head, and I'm seeing a bunch of dirt right here. That's what the hell you don't want in the crevasses. You don't want that shit anywhere around your engines, man. You want to get these as clean as possible before you rack them back up. You know, this all has to be a real clean area. Look at that. This cotton bud's already worked. Let's grab another one in it. See what else we can see here. All right. You know, I mean, yeah, you're always going to have, you know, it's just, you just want to get your engines as clean as possible. So that's good. This cooling head should be pretty clean. We hit it with the, you know, the air and the alcohol earlier, and this should be pretty clean. I mean, on the top there's some shit, but no, not really. It's just little stains from simple green and stuff. It's clean enough. That's the most important part. You know, this is what we want clean down here. We don't want any kind of bullshit down here. So I got that way cleaner than it was before, so I'm happy with that, so I can set it off to the side. So now let me figure out how to get this button off. Start dicking around with these screwdrivers, man. You don't want to put too much metal to metal when you're doing your engines, but this head button should, okay. All right. So we got our head button there. So let's go ahead and get it clean. All right. So I pulled one shim off of here. So that's what they come with from the factory. These Works engines. Like a 1/2 mil shim or something. Is there another one? Oh, there's another one. All right. Let me get it off. All right, we had another shim there. All right. Okay, the shims are cleaned off. So yeah, I like that. I like those shims. They're good. They probably provide a good little lift to get you a nice explosion in the detonation chamber. Those shims are important. So I'm going to just go ahead and take this Q-tip and just kind of work this button and see what I can pull off of here. I like pulling these engines apart, man. It's like a clue. It's like you're a detective on your own little Nitro case. Nothing's wrong with this motor. I just wanted to look in and see what's up. I'm not, you definitely don't have to do this every time you take a run, but I just wanted to because I'd never done this yet on this Works. And since I had problems with this thing before, so I really want to take a look in this engine and just make sure I know everything about it. So let me keep cleaning this thing here. All right, we're good to go under there, but I'm seeing some stuff here. So let's just get this head button totally clean, and then just a little bit of the. Let's get this thing just a little bit of stuff here, just to kind of give it a final. All right, this is a clean head button. Yeah, it's rad to look at this stuff for sure. Use a little shop towel and just get around there, and all right, get rid of that. All right, clean head button. It was only like not that long ago that I was watching videos on how to get sleeves out. I've done my other Reds engines so many times now that here I am doing it on video. I use a zip tie. I just get a zip tie in there, and I might not do this whole operation, but this will probably work. I'm just gonna put a zip tie in there and force a little bit of pressure on the piston. I can even take this nut right here, you know, your clutch nut, get your tool, and this sleeve should come out, start to come out at least. All right, I got it that far. I'll do the rest on my own, but this will work. All right, I did use my screwdriver. I did pry this a little bit. This is brass. Soft shit, right? Brass. Anyway, just when you're doing metal on your engines, you just want to be so careful when you do it. But sometimes, you know, you might reach for a little screwdriver just to help this thing along. So we got our sleeve out, and I'm just going to clean the hell out of that. How do I do that? Just probably with one of these, and then just douse it with oil, you know, or I can take right now I can just take a Q-tip and just make sure the walls are, you know, are just clean. So, okay, we got the sleeve there. Now let's get the piston out. This might be a bit fiddly. Sometimes it is, I don't know, sometimes these don't come right out. Alright, this might take me a second. Alright, there's our piston. Yeah, maybe if somebody out there knows a bit about what the rings look like, you know, let me know what you think about how this thing's detonating. But I mean, this engine really hasn't seen a whole lot of action. So anyway, you know, we got some little layer of carbon on top. Set it aside. Keep on going here. Okay, I'm going to have to get this nut off now. That can be tricky. Once you use your clutch nut to pull your sleeve out, it's kind of a pain because you tighten it back up. I never really just try to grab the... I mean, it's just really hard to grab over there. So I'll take my zip tie with this thing on the end here, and I'll just see if I could get it in here. And yeah, I can. All right, maybe I could do this one on grab this. And then you'll get that off. So you just use the zip tie to stop your crank from spinning. It's good to just use the plastic. And then you can, at that point, you should be able to pop your crank out. Let's take a look at the crank here. I don't see any like flash rust or anything, so that's good. I was worried about this engine. It sat for a long time without being started. All right. That bearing feels fine. Okay, let's get the bearing puller ready. This is what we're going to use here. Huddy bearing puller. They're $100. Super killer. Once you get one of these bearing pullers, you'll constantly be looking in your engines. All right, so I got a little bit of debris where that front bearing came out. You know, so it's good to just go in there, clean that out, man. You don't want that creeping up into the piston and sleeve. And then I'm gonna shoot this whole case out with brake clean anyway. I'm gonna have to take the carb off to do that, but let's get the rear bearing out now. That one's super fiddly. It takes me forever to do the rear bearing, so I got to go back to listening to my live streams to do that. Ooh-wee. God, getting the rear bearing out with this is always confusing as shit. It takes me forever. This carb, man, I got the bolt out, it's moving, but dude, this carb is not fucking coming out at all. So I don't know if I'm going to remove that because I want to get this engine put back together. So now let's take a look at all the dirt right there. I just take this Q-tip. I mean, that's right near the piston, man. This Q-tip's getting pretty thrashed. So I want to spray brake cleaner all up in this case, but I don't want to spray brake cleaner near my carb. So let me decide here what I'm going to do. Yeah, this carb's not moving on this session. So I just threw some painter's tape around it, and I want to spray this thing out with some carb cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Look at this here. It's running out. Anyway, here we go. Should be better now. There we go. That's what's up. All right. Grab a towel here and just kind of run it down in there. And just, yeah, it's just good to have a look in there, you know. Make sure there's no mysteries in your engines, man. No mysteries. So I'll get it cleaned out here. I might squirt some engine oil. This is the Nova Rossi engine oil. You can use like 3-in-1 and just get everything lubed back up. I just wanted to make sure that crankcase was clean, especially near the top up there. And that should be really clean now, not a speck of dirt. You know, and your shit's always going to get dirty on every run, but you just want to throw some eyeballs in here, man, if you can. All right, I'm happy with that. I'll take the sleeve and just kind of run this towel through there. Just give the sidewall a good clean, man. This is where your piston hits. Don't want any bullshit going on in there. So this is still like a pretty new engine, so this thing still has a bunch of compression. So that sleeve should be good. Let's take one more look at our crank here. Just give everything kind of the final rundown. What was my verdict on this front bearing? Let's wipe it off a little bit. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to reuse this front bearing. It's fine. Okay, I got everything here. So, yeah, before I can show that run from earlier, I got to reassemble my engine. Then I can go into the video room and start working on the video. But so let's get the engine back together now. All that just to have that, all that just to replace a clutch bearing. Hey, it's cool. All right, the engine is back together. Good there. Good there. I suppose I can put this gasket back on. I'm going to reuse it. Get this plug back up. And yeah, we're good to go. I still have a... Oh, this is still the carb pinch bolt. I'll remember to do that, but I want to edit this video now. Everything else, getting the car back together is easy, you know. I just kind of went through that to show you got to do a lot of work with Nitro, you know. That's just what it is. It's fun as shit, but you got to go through your stuff and clean it. Gaskets all over the place, and you have to rack these cars down. Here's an RTR, here's a race kit. No different. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut the lights off in here now and get to editing. It's Sunday night, so I got to get back to work. I've been gone for almost a month. So let's shut down Craig's Hobby Shop and start editing some video later on, you guys. Peace. Last blast. Yeah, man. Did a body for the Slayer. Not sure when I'm going to be able to run it, but it'll look sharp. I'll run the stock body for a while. This will just be, you know, when it's time to really have some fun and make her shine, man.